Okay, hello, hello, hello. I'll give a few minutes for folks to get here while I get my computer set up.
We are driving into Savannah to work. That's our view. The leaves aren't really changing yet here.
Here's my notes. Okay.
Take this back.
So we labeled this accuracy and chemical imbalances. And this is coming from tape 160 on September 30th, 1984, that we listened to on the way to work yesterday and on the way back as well, to finish it. So it's going to be a pretty short live stream, and but I just wanted to, let's see, so I guess the accuracy part stemmed from the meeting that T and Do gave, number 159, where the students, they asked the students to share their thoughts about the previous tapes that they had that were talking about the experiential identity and genetics in terms of passing on people's characteristics to human beings and how human beings can grow from each experience in the human kingdom. Anyway, so, but what came from that is a number of students were expressing themselves in new ways from what T and Do had taught over the years, over the 10 years prior, approximately. And it's not that that was wrong to do, but it's not an example of what the current classroom was all about. The classroom was about, it was a training program to learn how to think like a member of the next level thinks. And one of the keys to doing that is to, the human kingdom looks down on this, because in the human kingdom it's not designed to be this way. But with the next level, older members in the human kingdom holding this classroom, what the older members are bringing us in their thinking, in their behaviors and ways, in their understandings, in their concepts, that becomes our criteria for the astronaut training program. And if we go outside of that, we're the only place that we can go to have information that's different than that, and terminology is part of that, that's where the accuracy comes in, is to our own minds, to to the minds that come into our consciousness through our brains, from our genetic background, everything that was experienced ancestrally that we don't really remember, what we remember in subconscious ways, and the current environment since the birth of the vehicle that we all possess. That mind is a combination of the two genetic minds that contributed to the sperm and the egg, the mom and the dad of the vehicle. And all the experiences that come from that, which include society, which include everything people are observing right now, internet, politics, everything, schooling. So even the terminology, Tiendo didn't want to have this lesson. They don't want to tell us that we can only use the terminology that they use. Like one example was where Pressodi, talking about genetics, she started talking about RNA, ribosome nucleic acid, I think is what it is. And don't hold me to that though. But and they didn't say anything during the meeting where this was being talked about in 159. But in 160, after they talked about it, they realized that was the lesson that was going to come from that meeting. And that the information was, yes, it was interesting and it was all had its value, but when the teachers say to you, I want to hear your thoughts about something, what they want to hear is related to their teachings prior to that. Because of this being a training program, a schooling, of becoming members of the next level. They don't want to hear the human thoughts that we had from our ancestors and our environment, because that doesn't demonstrate the mind of the next level directly or as accurately as it does by using the same terminology.
I think the phrase that they said, Mark had said, was called to the carpet.
All right.
Called on the carpet.
That's why I thought it was related to Riccone. Because I think he was called on the carpet, so to speak. Because he wasn't in the classroom at that point, I don't think. Yeah, I'm sure that he wasn't. But he might have been able to, they talked about at one point letting him come back to the classroom. But not be exactly a part of the classroom.
You could just come to slippage meetings.
You could just observe in slippage meetings, right. And because he was living nearby, I think. Maybe that was Colorado at that point. Yeah, I think it might have been, or maybe not. But anyway, I might have that wrong, the reason why he brought that up. But because it seemed like there was another tape. No, that wasn't Cody, I don't think. It was Mercody. Anyway, so yeah, cold on the carpet was a phrase that Mark used, or Mercody. You know him as Mark and Sarah. I'm not pointing it out to him. He's just somebody that's living, that was in the classroom and got lessons like everybody else. I got plenty of lessons. Everybody got lessons. If you didn't get lessons, then you weren't participating in the classroom.
Well, that was the example that Doe brought up. So.
Yeah, but that was one of the examples that Doe brought up.
One of two.
That he used terminology that, right, there were only 2 lessons. Examples are brought up. I'm glad you remembered that. Because Tiendo never talked about somebody being called on the carpet or RNA. They talked about genetics. I don't even know if they used the term DNA.
They did.
They did, yeah. Right, they did. I thought they did, but I don't remember it exactly. But
I could be wrong about that, but I think I remember them saying that in a tape.
yeah, because they talked a lot about the genes
Yeah.
and how the so the lesson from tape 159 was that students were not only talking about those terms we just brought up of RNA and cold on the carpet, but they were giving examples of things that were just expanding what Tiendo had been teaching. And it's not, again, it wasn't like it was wrong, but they needed to get on track with this.
The other example that he used was they would call them and say, these, here are 2.
Yes.
And then they would ask them, what did I just say? And the student would reply, these are 2.
Right, I see that in my notes right here. Yes, these are 2 as opposed to here are 2. And it's just not accurate.
Right. It changes it.
It changes, it's like the game of telephone, right?
Yeah.
The more you repeat it to somebody else, if you don't really try hard to say the same exact things that they use, the same exact words they used, in the same order and everything, then
You're twisting it.
yeah, then you're
It's
not
running through your filtering program.
you're changing things, and we see that. I do that, and I think everybody tends to do it.
Well, that's why it's so important to be able to play their exact tapes.
Good, exact
And that
point.
it doesn't come through us, it's coming through them.
Yes, that's
Not
why it
us.
is important. That's the biggest reason. And
Another example of that, changing the words that they used was the last tape, 159. They were talking about the experiential identity and students were expressing their thoughts about it. I remember thinking at the time while we were listening to it that it was kind of odd, it was different, that they were letting, that it was like they were just kind of brainstorming, which I hadn't really heard yet on a tape. But so they realized Tiendo realized as they were thinking about it that tape needed to be erased because it wasn't accurate. And so they called somebody in Sat 3, I think. I could be wrong.
Can I step in there for a second? It wasn't accurate because let's see. I lost what I was going to say.
Well, they called the group, the class, and they talked to somebody on the phone. They didn't mention who they talked to, and they said, erase the last meeting tape because we got off the track. And they said
for the public,
well,
for
but they
the
didn't,
future.
yeah, they didn't necessarily. I don't know if they outlined that, if they said that or not, but that just that it was off track. I could be wrong about that, but the point I'm trying to make is the point that they were making was that so they said stop thinking about it and erase the tape, because at the end of that tape they said go ahead and think about what we've all talked about here.
Right.
Go ahead and think about it. And so
I got it in my notes.
yeah,
Not to think about it doesn't mean forget about it.
well, so right, so they continued on to say that, repeat back what I just said to you. And the person on the other end of the phone said, got it, erase the tapes and forget about it. And he said, no, that's not what I said. They didn't want them to forget about it, just to stop thinking about it.
Right.
That was all I had to say.
They said we wish it did not have to be word for word, but in this stage of primitive development, this civilization hasn't developed its language very well, so that even word for word is the best we can do, though it's not the best, as it can still have flaws in it.
There's a Vermont pen.
And then they said that we know you wanted to do what was exactly right, and we're doing what you thought we wanted you to do. But this is a lesson to figure out more implications of those parts you received. Be untrusting of your brain. And they said, we don't trust our brains at all.
Vehicles.
The brains of the vehicle, right. We look at what we are thinking and saying with a great deal of skepticism. Right, and that saying of placed on the carpet is lingo not from their minds. I wrote that down as a call from Riccati saying anyway.
It was Mercoti.
Yeah.
I think you just heard the name wrong.
Okay.
Because it wasn't Mercoti, it was Mercoti. Harm Van Houten, hello. Hello, Dave Coleman.
I am home. Okay, so let's see what else.
We're headed into work, Dave.
Then they said, and then T said, when you say something to us, we believe what you are saying. If you say everything is falling apart, I see everything falling apart.
The roof caving in and everybody collapsing.
Stereo is broken, the crystals in the lab were breaking. Is not everything. Those were some things that had happened that were being reported as everything is falling apart. Because some crystal goblet got broken, I think, by Tolodi when he was drying it. Hit it against something, and so, oh no, it was washing it. And so he was actually then taken off the task of washing those crystal goblets because he wasn't careful enough. And until he could learn to be more careful. Anyway, so that kind of lingo of saying everything is falling apart when only a few things happen, and being specific about them, they said it was speaking like a human speaks. The next level mind will use the experiences in your brain to express itself. Oh yeah, it's still a little disjointed when they said that in my notes. But that's how we can use the next level mind, or we can use the human mind to express itself through our brains. And what they were trying to teach us to do is use the next level mind, and the next level mind is what came through them. Because they were given to us by the next level, the older members of the next level, even Tiendo themselves, gave us the opportunity to learn what was in their minds. And so that's why it's important that, like Kathy was saying before, to listen to the tapes, listen to the, read the book, listen to the Beyond Human videos, and look at everything that they gave us, so that when we express it to somebody else, we can quote them as much as possible. Now, I remember a lesson that when we were doing this in the classroom, when they would call on the phone, because they weren't living with us that often, or on the intercom if they were living with us sometimes, to handle notes and things, or they gave us instructions to go do a task, like go to take cue card to an oil change or something, whatever it was, and they had certain things that they wanted to maybe have accomplished at the oil change, and so they give us instructions. we had two people on the phone the whole time to get things right, because that's the way it operated in the next level in partnerships. And so sometimes when I was on the phone, they would also ask us to parrot it back, what the instructions were. So they would say, go to, take the Q car for an oil change and make sure they check the air filters and blah, 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 whatever they would say. And so that you would repeat back to one of the persons on the phone would repeat back. The other person on the phone would just listen. Not that they couldn't say something, but they were being a check partner to the primary who got the task. And so they would repeat back, take the cue card to the oil change, and have this done and this done in particular. And I wouldn't, when I would repeat it back, sometimes I would get it exactly right, but sometimes there would be a lot more to it, and I didn't repeat it back exactly right. And I would try to repeat it back exactly right. I'd try it a second time, and they would say that, well, you got the intention. What's most important is that you got the intention on the instruction. But it would have been better if I could have, but maybe my brain doesn't work that well in that regard. Sometimes on the spot like that. I know that's the case. So there wasn't like punishing me or something or reprimanding me at the time. They didn't do that kind of thing. Occasionally they did. Okay, I'm not going to say they never did it, but it was never in an angry way or even a frustrated way. Well, frustrated might be sometimes we would experience that, but anyway, I'll move on.
Well, we're about to get gas and you're going to go in and get coffee, right? But that's a good segue into partnerships.
So you want to just take a 5-minute break or whatever it takes?
Let's go to this.
Leave the live stream on?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll leave it on, but we're going to take a short intermission. We'll be back. So I'm doing the gas and you're going inside or what?
You want me to do the gas?
Yeah, then I can make it just faster, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll give you the card.
And then you'll use the other one?
I'll use cash. Am I getting something for you?
Are you going to get the Danishes?
Yeah, I could get a couple of those. Will do. That's all I'm going to get though, right?
Yeah.
All right. I'll be back.
Just put stickers up. Like we used to do that when we were just in the car traveling around. We had these stickers right here made up. It's T&O. And on it says T&O representatives from the physical kingdom level above humans. We like to put those up in random places. $22 for a half tank of gas. I've got my tea mixed with matcha that I'm drinking. I guess I can start the car. Harm Van Houten, you say you get so much energy out of this. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. I'm glad I don't think we normally live stream during the day, so we don't normally see you. Hello, Piss Lord, and hello, Aguilar Manduano? Sorry, I probably butchered that, and I apologize. And I know I said that I wasn't going to be on the live streams, and I'm trying to keep a muted presence. But instead of it just being an empty chair with no Sawyer in it, I guess you guys can listen to my voice for a minute. I started my own YouTube channel. I'd already had a channel, which the last video that I did, I listened to Sawyer's live stream while he was coming home, so that was on my channel. My channel is just me coloring. So that's the Kathy Southwestern profile if anybody wanted to go check it out. But I don't want any haters. I'm just gonna block and delete anybody that's mean to me, because you shouldn't be mean to somebody on a coloring channel. Yeah, hey Piss, peace to you too, and Harm Van Houten, happy you back, Kathy. I'm not really back, I'm just filling in right now. Well, and somebody had mentioned that it was good to have a partner, which we know, like with what we've heard from the tapes and what T and Doe, how they operated the classroom with partnerships, that it's good to have somebody to bounce off of. That person said that, you know, I was like a sidekick, which I didn't really appreciate that. I don't think anybody would like being called a sidekick, so it was like a backhanded compliment, which is, I seem to have been getting a lot of that, and that's why I decided to take a step back to protect my mental health. It was really bothering me. It still bothers me that people would say really mean things or uncalled for. I think Sawyer has kind of learned a lot about some of his subscribers, some of the people that were here that he's since blocked because they were mean to me. We're at the Quick Trip outside of Savannah. There he is. He's got his coffee in Danish. He's so cute. Oh. We got about 20 minutes left before we're going to be in town, so oh, there's a space right there. Stick your coffee if you want.
Okay, Dankeschön.
Here's your money.
Dankeschön. I said Harm could appreciate that, I think.
He's still here. He said hi. Harm Van Houten, Piss Lord, and Aguilar. Aguilar, I think I'm saying that right. I was just letting them know that we'll only got about like 20 minutes left.
Yeah, before we have to walk.
Yeah. We're gonna go to Starbucks first so I can get my matcha loaded with sugar. Yeah, buddy.
Well, not any more than I got.
You like that? Oh, these birds are having a feast over here. Good for them. Oh, that guy's throwing out like some eggs.
Yeah, right. Eggs?
That's what it looks like.
Jeez.
The birds will eat it.
Where is that? It's one in the parking lot, right? Throwing eggs in the parking lot. Anyway, so where were we?
We were going to talk about partnerships, which I just talked a little bit about, you and I's partnership.
Yes.
But yeah, we're talking about partnerships and okay, you want me to go, dude? I see you.
Oh,
Oh, here, I'll
that was me that fell down.
Oh, I might want to get
Still
into
running,
the
I
right
hope.
lane. Yeah, it is.
Okay, so anyway, they said that before I go to that, they did say they'd come back to the subject of tape 159, the genetics and the tree and all that, and experiential identity, but that but some topics were not. Well, let's see. But we need to work on the vernacular, that and being more accurate. So partnerships. I'll just go right to the TVs because it's next to my notes.
I thought it was, yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's what I wanted you to do.
So they said they were watching TV and they were seeing a report, if I remember correctly,
Yep.
that was talking about this trend of having partnerships in TV shows. For example, Remington Steele. I don't know who the partner was in Remington Steele.
Well, they named it
Yeah.
Laura Holt or something like that.
Yeah, I didn't recognize it either. And these
So
are
these
shows that we saw.
Yeah, these are shows that the class.
So they asked the students to give them examples of the shows that we've been watching that were partnerships. And some of the students really, knew a lot of them. And I didn't remember them at the time, I don't think.
Just shows how much TV that
Yeah.
you guys watch.
Right, we watched, TV not every night, but quite often. But an hour at a time, I think, or unless it was a movie, and then it would be like an hour and a half or 2 hours. But, anyway, so the other one was Simon and Simon, Scarecrow and Mrs. King, Cagney and Lacey, Tucker. I don't remember Tucker very well. I know there was anyway, I don't remember that. Airwolf, which was Santini and Stringfield. Then there was Jonathan and Cody. And Hawaii Heat, I think was about a partnership solving crimes and things like that. Miami Vice,
Which is an excellent show.
Hardcastle and McCormick. Partners in Crime was a threesome, actually.
With Lonnie Anderson, I think she said. He
Okay.
said, I think. Could be wrong.
Kate and Allie. Heart and Heart. Something called Cover Up.
I think they did say that, yeah.
And then another one called The Hunters.
Yeah. That was about people going out and gosh, what was that? What did they say that was about? They were trying to find people that had I don't remember what that one was about. What they said. Shows how many TV shows there were that are not memorable.
Right, and they also were talking about in this report that there were teams being focused on. They didn't go through the names of the shows that had teams. A team is two people is a team as well, right? But like I remembered A-Team.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
We watched that, and And
Oh, and they talked about Magnum PI.
Magnum PI, but I didn't write that in
Because I guess like he was partnered kind of with his butler.
Oh, yeah, they mentioned that, and then they said that another thing that they noticed was that that was reported in this report, that when there was a couple, two people doing the show as the primary actors, that if they got into a romantic relationship, then the viewership dropped off.
Well, what's really funny is that Sawyer and I were talking. We were watching Doc Martin, and Doc is he's a hard guy. He says so. Like the woman that's interested in him because she just likes whatever. So finally in season 2, so they've got this tension between them, this temptation. So finally in season 2, I think at the very end of it, they kiss after they'd just gone through this emergency and saved this young boy's life. She was assisting in the back of the ambulance. Doc Martin is super cute because he was a world-class surgeon in London, and then all of a sudden he developed a phobia against blood, where it would like cause him to vomit and have panic attacks, and so you can't be a surgeon and have that phobia, right? So
Because he got emotionally connected to one of the patients before he was going to do surgery with the family of them.
Yeah, the family came in and was talking about how they were worried, and he saw her as a person as opposed to just like a body to work on. But so they had just had this experience in the back of the ambulance, and things were heightened, and so they're in the back of the car getting driven back to their town, their little town that they live in, village, and they kiss. And right after they kiss, he starts talking about halitosis and stuff about how that could be caused. And she's like, are you saying that I have bad breath? And of course that immediately turned her off. But so like that's his character. He just can't like help but say something stupid.
He's got no social graces.
None whatsoever. And
No politeness or anything.
Like
Even the smile.
Yeah, his smile is like a grimace. It's such a cute character. It's so funny.
But he's very truthful and very honest, and he's very direct.
Yeah, he's like, I don't see any need to engage in lies and chit chat and whatnot. But so I was telling him, like, I know because I watched part of the show. I watched a couple seasons of it. I knew that eventually they did get together, and I actually kind of lost interest in watching the show when they were together because that tension between them was better. And I brought up the show Moonlighting with Bruce Willis and Sybil Shepherd, and how like there was like 7 or 8 seasons, I believe, where there was like intense tension between those two main characters, and then finally in the last season they got together, and it wasn't as interesting anymore. Like it just, I don't know. And so we were discussing that, and then when we listened to this tape and Doe started talking about that, I was like, oh my gosh, we were just discussing that. Like we knew that was going to be on the tape, where it's just like validation. Sorry to talk so much.
Stop. No, I want. It's good, but okay. Anyway, so I guess. Well, the reason why, how does this relate to T and Doe, of course, right? Well, they felt like, even though, humans wouldn't see this necessarily, they felt like the reason why partnerships were becoming popular is because the next level was influencing them through T and Doe and the classmates that were all depositing thoughts into the environment, into the ethers that were pro-partnerships. I remember T and Doe talking about how it'd be good to have a partnership of presidents. You know, that it'd be a lot more objective, and you know, maybe should take one Republican and one Democrat, you know, and put them together, or have a threesome with independent, you know, because we had threesomes in the group too.
Yeah, and that makes sense with, I mean, like we do have a president and a vice president, which is supposed to kind of, you know, be a partnership, but they're of the same party.
Right.
Like I was saying, I think it would be very interesting if our next set that's in the White House is Donald Trump and RFK Jr. Can you guys imagine?
Yeah, right. Right.
I'm not for Trump or RFK Jr. I don't really. I mean, I think we know what Trump stands for, but RFK Jr. I'm still a little. I think he talks out of both sides of his mouth sometimes.
Yeah, he probably does.
Which all politicians do, but Donald Trump, I don't know. He was pretty straightforward about what he wanted to accomplish. So I don't know. Like he set out to accomplish what he said he was going to do. I don't feel like I don't know, maybe he probably did make some campaign promises that never came to pass, but...
And some of that, you know, maybe a lot of people wish he didn't make. I mean, he was not... Anyway, you know, he made Jerusalem the capital of Israel.
Of that, didn't they? Yeah.
Not the capital, but that's where they put the embassy.
But, I mean, like, you know, Donald Trump I don't think he ever said, you know, I'm gonna do this and then not actually do anything. Like he said, I'm gonna build a border wall, and he started building a border wall.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't like...
I understand that that's actually going to be continued now.
I believe so.
By the Biden administration.
I know they've done some stuff, and Donald Trump, I think, was talking about that.
Anyway, but I don't know if that's a good thing or not. But, you know,
it seems kind of silly in some of the... Yeah, it seems silly in some of the places. I think they need to reinforce it where they know people are coming over. Like, they don't need a border wall in the mountains where nobody is crossing, you know, that's not next to any major cities. It doesn't need to be just like this huge, you know, wall.
And the whole thing is backfiring anyway. It's like, with the tens of thousands of people that went to New York City, were sent there by Texas and, you know, some of the border states.
It's a mess, like you said.
And they got to New York, and now they've got like this major problem with all the shelters being filled and having Floyd Bennett Field as a refugee camp kind of thing, and paying them. They're paying them a lot of money, you know, hundreds of dollars a month so that they don't drain the economy, you know, or the social resources from the. I don't know. It's a big mess, but in any case,
could be done a lot better.
The other subject, which I don't know that we can do it justice in this short live stream, but we can touch on it, was nutrition and vitamins.
I think what you should do is hold the phone and show everybody what we're seeing right now.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It's just so beautiful. I don't know. Well, maybe face it this because I'd glare on the water. So when you drive into Savannah, this is what you see. I don't know if you guys can see it, but here, let me see that. Oh, show them the ports. It's so cool here. And then this bridge that you come across. And then boom, you're right in downtown Savannah. And I want you to show them the bridge that we're coming up to here, but also all the fancy boats that are down here. When we get up here. I love driving into Savannah. I mean, right now we're being accosted with a really nasty chemical smell, but you know, no biggie, no big deal. It's fine, it's fine.
Yeah, it comes and goes.
Look how cool this bridge is. Oh wait, they can't see it at all. Give me that. Waiting for the phone to adjust. Yeah, isn't this cool? Love this bridge. And then show them that.
Yeah, the industry. I mean, you know, industry isn't normally thought of as a. Kathy likes the industry because I think it's.
They can't see any of it. Like maybe put it up a little down.
Huh?
I don't know. Maybe you guys can see that.
Well, I gotta go over the wall.
And then here, let me see.
I don't know if you can see it.
And then we'll show you what little historic look like. It doesn't look like much when you're up here. It's so cool here, though. I can't.
It is we were here last year.
I love it here.
Throughout the winter, most of the winter. We were in Florida also, but the feeling in Florida was kind of terrible.
Florida was just.
We didn't like it there at all, no matter where we went. And when we left this area for the summer, we went up north to Ohio. We were in Cincinnati area, and we were there most of the whole time, except when we traveled to Indiana.
To see my daughter.
Yeah, and it was good for us. We enjoyed Cincinnati, and we made decent money there.
Mm-hmm.
And we even had a meeting there. So
we had a really good meeting,
which was really good. We had a sponsor and
sold out show.
And we sold out the movie theater kind of size place.
We live streamed that.
Concert hall. We live streamed it, right?
Alexander and Hannah helped with that, which was so cool having them there.
Yeah, they helped sell some of my books and stuff.
And the Tea and Dough shirt that we have.
Right. And
we almost sold out of that. Now we just have it 2 times extra large.
Right, a couple of them, right? I don't know how many we have.
I don't know. We probably have like 10, because I think that's how many I think we bought 30, which, oh well.
Anyway. But, so then when we came back to Savannah, it was like, it's a tourist place.
Hi, TJ1.
And there's a college of art here.
SCAD, Savannah College of Art and Design.
Right, so there's a lot of students. There's a lot of, and then there's this one strip where there's all kinds of bars.
Lots and lots of bars.
And, so everybody's getting inebriated.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
It's a little bit of a freak show, but we're freaks also, so. And we wear, our shirts that show pictures of Tea and Dough on them and have the words Heaven's Gate on them and stuff like that, so which always stimulates conversation. Well, not always. I mean, like maybe it happens once or twice every time I work or we work. That we get looks, of course, and who knows what people are thinking, of course, but it seems to be good that it stimulates the thoughts about it. I wore a shirt the other day that was a picture of the UFO poster that was for the meeting that I attended in Walport, Oregon, and somebody said that they liked it, and so, this town is kind of known for its ghost history.
Yeah, it's pretty ghosty here.
It's got tours of cemeteries, and it's got hearses that run around with people sitting in the top of it, looking at the old burial grounds or the buildings that were from the Civil War, and people, it's all nostalgic for people, right? Although people were massacred, and a lot of the Indians were massacred in this area.
Yeah, there's a lot of history here.
It's not like, anything good. That's all from basically nutritional deficiencies. The reason
David's
why people act that way.
So,
and that's another subject.
The only Starbucks I could order from, because the other ones are being
was
little
it Kroger?
Bitches. Yeah, it was the Kroger. But since we're ordering it this far in advance, it should be ready by the time we get there. So you have a little bit of time to talk about.
Okay, well, I'll go to my notes here. And the way that Doe started off this conversation, Tea and Doe, but Doe was talking about nutrition and vitamins. And he said that doctors in South Carolina were experimenting with insects and chemicals. And it put a drop of a chemical on a female cockroach, and it acted as an aphrodisiac for male cockroaches. sent the cockroaches crazy with sensuality, which we feel is good to reduce sensuality to chemicals. In other words, but not only sensuality, as
Shouldn't have gone this way.
anger, impatience, probably depression. They didn't mention that though. Because sensuality isn't just about sexuality. It's about emotions, that are that can cause problems, and to where Doug talked a lot about booze because he had a lot of experience with booze, and he says that let's say you wanted to be seen in your community, and having cocktails was part of being part of the community, a socially accepted norm to have cocktails, and it's part of your day, and also even like having an active sex life and bar jumping is part of somebody's day, and they're even like proud of it, and they might do that on weekends, and then come into work not even functional at work, and even be proud of the fact that they have a hangover, that because they partied so hard, and that's what society looks at that as, oh yeah, wow, you have a great life, kind of thing. And it's all from nutritional deficiencies that have been in the environment for as long as the lower forces have been here, because the lower forces don't put a priority, don't give humans an influence of putting a priority on having good nutrition.
Gosh, these oak trees are just amazing. Look
I'm
at
not
that.
expressing this very well. I really hope that
Well, I
individuals
think
that have
I don't
access to it.
think he said that all of that is nutritional deficiency, but that contributed.
Yeah, it's a big contribution to it. Yeah, right. But the thing is that it's not a moral issue.
Yeah.
It's a chemical issue.
Mm-hmm.
It's chemical imbalances in people, and that you could eat all the right foods.
Sorry.
At this time, and but the food is so lacking of nutrition because of the way it's grown and the growing practices and all that, that's made for profit.
Wait, hold on. I don't know if they can hear you. These oak trees are just so amazing, right? People can't see that. I mean, it's not an everyday thing that you see. And look at these, like, old, I don't know what these are referred to, but these buildings have been here since the Civil War. Now, when Sherman was making his retreat, or no, he wasn't, I don't know if it was Sherman making his retreat. He burned a lot of the South. And apparently, Savannah, he spared because it was too beautiful to burn. I'm sorry. Oh, look at this little dog.
Getting a little history tour here.
Yeah, sorry.
I remember Kathy telling me that when we first came here. These dogs are wearing,
Such cool buildings, and
they're dressed up with Halloween costumes.
yeah, that was cute.
People
Little,
are
like,
walking their dogs.
daisies.
Yeah, so
There's like hundreds of people that walk around down here. It's just a really cool vibe. But yeah, you were saying last night that we were just surrounded by, I mean, after a certain amount of time, like maybe let's say 10 p.m., even maybe 9 p.m., 10 p.m., almost probably everybody that we see, and there's literally hundreds of people walking around on the streets. Almost everyone we see after 10 p.m. is drunk off their butts.
Yeah, falling over sometimes.
falling over, laying in the road, sitting on the sidewalk,
Like I went into one food
shoes
delivery.
off.
I went to the hotel with a food delivery. I was in the elevator, and a guy came in the elevator, and he was carrying a drink with him.
Yeah,
And people can walk around with drinks
Yep.
in the open air here.
yeah. There's certain areas where you're allowed to have alcohol and be walking around.
Yeah. And it's like, and the problem with alcohol and drugs and things like that is it, according to Doe, is that it lowers your inhibitions to where you would do things that you wouldn't ordinarily do.
I mean, look at these houses. Now we're by Forsyth Park, which is, I think, world famous, actually. We're not going to see much of it, but I'm sorry. These mansions along this road are just so cool.
Of course, Harm is from Germany, I think.
Well, yeah,
And
that's
so
even much cooler
They've
stuff,
got
but-
history there that
Oh, yeah.
makes this
But
look
I mean,
like nothing.
look at all these oak trees, and they've got this huge park that takes up a big, huge space, lots of blocks. So beautiful. And there's always people walking around and enjoying the park, and they have like live concerts and stuff. There's tons of weddings, bridal showers. I think I took a picture of this house last night. Look at this house right here, surrounded by these oaks. Oops, I'm not turning here. Look at all these little buildings. Ooh, that one's being worked on. And this stuff that's hanging from the trees, like hair, it's called Spanish moss. Okay, I'm done.
So you're getting more than just a talk about T and Do here. You're getting a tour of
A little tour.
Georgia, Savannah, Georgia.
Historic Savannah.
Yep. And we did really well making money yesterday.
Oh, hopefully that carries over in today, to
Yeah.
tonight. We worked till 2. Yeah, we worked till 2 p.m.
So Doe said what people consume today at best would take generations to make them healthy. At this point, what is available is extremely limited. Like, and that cravings have stimulated the programming of people. And he talked about tea doesn't have any didn't have any cravings, like food.
Yeah, that's right.
That she went by like Doe said, I never knew a child who liked the taste of shrimp. And he said, well, perhaps if ancestors were saturated with shrimp eating, they might be interested in it if they were taught that it was a delicacy and things like that.
Where's the Starbucks at in here?
It's on this door.
Okay. All right, I'll be right back.
Okay, I'll just keep on doing this.
Yeah, and then I guess we can head back over to downtown and then we can sign out.
Yeah. So, Doe talked about how he was forced to eat. He forced himself to eat shrimp the first time he had it. Because he went to I think he told us a story a few times actually during the course of the years that we were together. And he said that, because he was part of high society in Houston. And, singer, he was the lead singer in the operas. And that they did like My Fair Lady and Oklahoma and other ones. And so he would mingle, with Dan Rather, who was in CBS at the time and had an office across the street from Wow, that was fast. Oh, you just picked it up because you ordered it.
Yeah, I
as we were
ordered it
driving.
fast enough. They had 2 people in there today.
So anyway, so he would go to cocktail parties and they would all be raving about the shrimp cocktail. And so he forced himself to eat it. And in the same restaurant, he went to the bathroom and threw up after that. But then he kept on eating it. And he said, he actually came to like it
Yeah.
in certain ways. It was cooked a certain way. And a lot of times it was cooked. The problem with it was that when they cooked it, fell down again. It was the convoluted kind of live stream, right?
Yes, we can. Beautiful. Hello, Jay Nelson. What a treat. Thanks for showing us. Thank you guys for appreciating it. All right, I got to hold on to that. Well, he said that they were sludge eaters.
Well, he was talking about the fish, that the way the lower forces kind of influence people to get off the track on the seafood, because seafood was considered to be healthy to eat, but then they switched it over to eating not only, but eating the seafood that were bottom feeders,
And
like
even
catfish.
yeah, and even the fish that they did eat that was popular for a while there was deep fried.
Right, they would deep fry it in oil, and that wasn't healthy to eat. So that became the focus of people who couldn't eat these things unless they were deep fried. And I remember that with okra. We in the classroom.
I love deep fried okra.
Doe introduced to us. You do?
I do.
Wow. So he introduced okra to us, but we didn't have it deep fried. We had it because we were on like a health kick diet at that point. It was a vegan kind of diet, and okra was part of it. And I couldn't. It would make me gag when I would eat it.
Because of the slimy.
It was steamed because of the sliminess of it, but then I programmed myself to try to like it.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have big servings of it, so it wasn't like I didn't throw up and all, because that would be giving into the vehicle to do that. I mean, if somebody did, they wouldn't be punished or anything for it. They wouldn't be looked down upon. I don't remember anybody being called on the carpet for using that term. But because people didn't, right, that wasn't the way that T&O treated things. That anyway, but I came to think it was okay. I had gotten to the point to where I didn't mind it. I wouldn't say that I would choose it. But then Doe discontinued it from the diet right after that. Not because of me, I don't think, because I didn't talk about it. I just ate the serving that I got. But I overcame my vehicle in that regard. So I wasn't gagging anymore. And that's what, in a sense, people are doing when they're eating things that they would never eat, but they have to deep fry them, and then they can eat them.
Then it tastes good.
Because then it doesn't, you're getting the taste of the oil and the crunch and, the bread that's breaded with, or the egg that it's breaded with, or the combination of that. Anyway.
We're almost to where
But
we're gonna...
T used her meter, that's what he said, to determine what to eat and what not to eat. And her meter was, a better way of doing it than social norms.
So we probably should go ahead and we're almost to where we're going to be at, where we sign in. I should have stopped for those people. And then we'll show you a little bit of the historic district of Savannah. Broughton Street is where it all goes down, y'all. this candy store we still haven't gone into. But yeah, we probably should sign in to Uber.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get on the street and show people. I guess you can see a little bit from this corner. A little bit. That building's 1921. You guys got away from a random dude. This is the Starbucks here that wouldn't allow ordering ahead. Jerks. See all the people. All the people. There, it's a Pride right now, I guess. So that's a lot of stuff had been closed off. Actually, where we sit is closed off. Here's some of Broughton Street. This is what we have to deal with while we're working. Scores of people walking across the road. But it doesn't really look like much. It's nicer during the, I guess, go ahead. Yeah. Lots of tourists, but we love them because they tip good.
Probably not the ones walking around, but the ones that ordered in food.
Yeah, well, they
in
might
the hotels and stuff. Yeah, they might be in the
They
hotel.
might be later.
They might be walking around, right?
So that's a little bit of Broughton. There don't seem to be as many homeless people as there were here last winter.
And there goes the trolley.
The trolley.
There's the guy with
Yeah, we've got the pedicabs.
And then they have the people that are on they're pedaling on like a trolley, but it's pedal power.
Yeah,
and they're drinking. It's a portable bar.
There's a trolley down there all the way
Going
down
the
there.
road,
You
with
see it.
people pedaling to keep it going.
And they're always like drunk. And the one time,
Yelling and stuff.
time they were coming by us, and I got fist bumped by like 4 different people.
And there's horses. And
It's fun.
Pulling people.
All the squares.
And wagons.
It's fun.
And then there's the police during the drunk hours in the street that's
Here's a
got the
trolley.
most bars. They're mounted on horses, and the horses have streams of lights, blue lights on the back of their tails, on their tails. It's kind
These
of funny.
buildings here.
I've never seen that before. I've seen horses on patrol.
So they've already
Quite a
got
bit.
this street blocked off, it looks like.
They're having it like a fair down there.
Pride.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. That's all the Pride stuff.
And it starts at 6:50. These lights that are over the road are lit up at night. It's fun. All right, I'll hand that to you so you can end it, finish it.
Well, Doug talked about one thing that I'm just going to mention, that there's ways that society could develop if the lower forces weren't here,
I think we should go straight. I'm trying to think where we should park now.
to where people would get together and decide if there needed to be more humans. And they would find the best vehicles that were the healthiest
Oh, there's the hearse tours.
to use test tube babies or ways of impregnating in order to come up with humans that were healthy, and that they could develop pills that would
I wonder if we should park in the alley.
reduce the anger or reduce people's
We should sign in though.
desire for sexuality and booze and drugs and
It's because it's 6.
anyway. All
For
right.
work.
So yeah, we've done it for the most part. I didn't say hello to anybody, but
I did.
I say Jay Nelson, Piss Lord. Yeah, Kathy said hello to
Harm.
everybody. So great to have you all here hanging out, and we'll see you again. Bye.
I don't think there were any questions.